A whole civilization will die tonight. He died like a dog. Sad. Team, the extraction is critical. Monitor that distraction. Doctor, let's move out. This is serious. Engines hot. Clear for launch. Moving to the helo now. Cover me. Roger that. We're ready. Hopefully the medic. Like bombs. Alright, let's move. 20 clicks north of this. ETA 30 minutes. Copy that. Let's go. Device online. Signal strong. She's fucking. Allah. Take that, terrorist! RPG out! Do it. Get our soldiers home. Good work, team. Clear the sector. These dumb fucks fell for it. Fuck these terrorists and all the Americans who support them. Army, the best. Let's go. We have a country to save. Black oil is incredible, folks. Nobody does it better. I hope you wiped your ass. I already killed your father and the real you. Next up. Safety, help me, please. Well, look at our special guest. You will regret this. Everyone smile. Best mission selfie ever. Tremendous. Perfect shot. This is a violation of my rights. Relax, buddy. You're making history. He's not moving. Let me check. It's cardboard. A fake Ayatollah. Still a good fit.
That was pretty cool, wasn't it? That was pretty cool. Legos. Is it just my internet? I keep getting the spinning wheel. I hope not. I hope not. I don't see a spinning wheel on mine. It shouldn't be. Hey, everybody. How you doing? Awesome to see you, Jay Schwartz. Kimby wants to know, is Kimby PhD, her kitchen is no longer dirty. What do you know? Is it still considered late if the intro lasts 15 minutes? I've never had a 15-minute intro. That was like a 2.5-minute intro. And then like a little video. I don't know. Terry's here. What's up, Terry? Great to see you. Tom Bravo's here. Time again for the best show on the interwebs. Yes, it is. Just reloaded. Got it fixed. All right. Awesome. None of your business is here, too. Great to see you. And awesome to see Audrey here, too, as well. I want to thank everybody who's here tonight. I'm going to have a nice little show tonight. Got a bunch of stuff to talk about. I guess there's a press conference that's supposed to start soon. I'm not 100% sure when it's going to start. Let me see here. There's supposed to be a starting soon from Islamabad, Pakistan. Some remarks, but as soon as it starts, we'll go to it live to watch the press conference. What's up, West Pro? Great to see you. Thanks for being here. Lynn P says, I agree. It's the best news on the interwebs. Well, thank you. Sunshine, hey, what's up? Great to see you. What the F's here, too. Awesome to see you. So the way the show works is it's going to be about 2 hours, 2.5 hours long, unless we hit the goal, which the way the goal works is for every $100 in total across all platforms, which could be super chats, Rumble rants, gifted memberships, becoming members, coffee, Cash App, PayPal, super tips. Yes, I have Rumble Wallet. I do have Rumble Wallet. If you go into Rumble, it's on there. I don't know. It says something about a tip on Rumble Wallet. I don't know how that works exactly, but I do have it. Along with Kick and Twitch also have like giving coins, and then Locals has coins or something and memberships. I add it all up, and if we hit 100, we activate an extra hour, and then for each additional 100 that comes in, we activate another additional hour. So the show could be 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 6, 8, 10, 12, whatever. And as an added bonus, because I know how much you guys like it, when we hit 50, we activate Bellavision for the evening, and there she is. You can see it's a normal sleep time for Bella. She's already knocked out there. And that's when we hit 50, we activate Bellavision. But if someone is so generous that they donate an individual donation of $25 or greater, then we automatically activate Bellavision for the evening. Richard Wharton's here. What's up, buddy? Good to see you. Yeah, so happy that your kitchen is clean. Yes, that's right. So I will keep this in the background as soon as this comes up, right? Let's see. Yeah. As soon as it comes up and live, I'll hear it, and then we'll jump right to it. All right. So let's get into the first news story of the evening while we're waiting. No, not this. Okay. Breaking news. President Trump announces that the U.S. is beginning to clear out the Strait of Hormuz as a favor to the countries all over the world. No amnesty. Should have gotten American citizenship. Florida voter Representative Maria Salazar. Yep, that's right. No amnesty, Christine. No amnesty. Any thoughts on the mine-sweeping operations? Any updates on Swallowwell? There is some. How is Bella's ears? They seem a little bit better. I did give her a treatment earlier today. If it starts... Are gifted memberships the best way to contribute? The best way, in all honesty, West Pro, the best way for me, personally, for people to contribute to me, would be Cash App or PayPal would be the absolute best way, because that would mean the most of the money's coming to me. I don't know how the Rumble wallet works, like the tips on Rumble. I don't know how that works. Like Rumble rants are okay, but Rumble still takes 20%. And if you use an Apple device or a Google device, they take some money too from Rumble, I believe. So you can see they're clearing it out. President Trump announced Saturday morning that the United States is now beginning the process of clearing the Strait of Hormuz. It says the fake news media has lost all credibility, not that they had any to begin with. Because of their massive Trump derangement syndrome, sometimes referred to as TDS, they love saying that Iran is winning when in fact everyone knows that they are losing, and losing big. Their Navy is gone, their Air Force is gone, their aircraft apparatus is non-existent, the radar is dead, their missile and drone factories have been largely obliterated. along with the missiles and drones themselves. And most importantly, their longtime leaders are no longer with us. Praise be to Allah. The only thing they have going is the threat that a ship may bunk into one of their sea mines, by the way. So it's like Archie. They're going to Archie bunk into it. He got bunked into him. That's what Archie Bunker used to say. Is that like a Brooklyn thing? He bunked into him? Archie Bunker say he bunked into me. I wonder if that's a New York thing. I would say bump, not bunk. We're now starting the process of clearing out the Strait of Hormuz as a favorite to the countries all over the world, including China, Japan, South Korea, France, Germany, and many others, incredibly, they don't have the courage or will to do this themselves. Very interesting, however, empty oil-carrying ships from many nations are heading to the United States of America to load up on oil. Thank you for attention to this matter. Yes, he used to always bunk into the turlet. Yes, and he always used to add extra Earl to his car. Hey, OTR Smokehouse, great to see you too. We need to ask Fang Fang about Swalwell. Yes. Safe travels, Pat Hacker. Yes, safe travels. Safe travels. Mm-hmm. In a lengthy post, the president slammed claims of fake news media that Iran's winning the war. Their Navy's gone. We said all this. Trump explained that while the world benefits from a reopened and secure strait, empty oil-carrying ships from multiple nations are now steaming towards the U.S. ports. You know, it's funny that we still say ships are steaming somewhere because, you know, there used to be originally steamships and they would steam places, but they're not really steamships anymore. Does anybody know what ships are still steamships, though, technically, theoretically? That's right. Nuclear-powered ships are still steamships because the nuclear power actually creates steam, which turns a turbine, which creates the electricity and does other things to make the ship move. Non-shop cleaning and scrubbing and 2 shipments of trichogramma wasps. Media Matters for America, by the way, a tax exempt should be included on RICO charges for Russian impeachment hoax. Definitely. Very interesting, however, empty oil ships from many nations are now steaming towards the United States. Well, several U.S. Navy ships were seen crossing the Strait of Hormuz on Saturday. The Strait of Hormuz is one of the most strategically important choke points in the world. It serves as a primary route for oil tankers exiting the Persian Gulf, with roughly 20% of the global oil trade normally passing through it, approximately 20 million barrels per day prior to the conflict. Iranian mining and threats have severely disrupted traffic, creating a backlog that has threatened global energy prices and supply chains. Kelly J's here. What's up, Kelly? Great to see you. We got this. U.S. Navy ships cross Strait of Hormuz for first time since war started as Iran threatens U.S. vessels. Say what? They did what? What'd they do? They did what? What'd they do? Navy ships crossed the Strait of Hormuz for the first time since the war. Several American military vessels crossed the channel Saturday in a move that was not coordinated with Iran, Israeli journalist Barak Ravid reported, citing intelligence officials. Hey, sweet day dreams. 2026. Hello, family, and my Bella and the cat. Still have not seen her. Well, if she pops her head out, I will show her to you. But she's a cat, and they don't come when you call them. They run away. You know, generally speaking, they're very, especially this one's very shy. President Trump seemingly confirmed the passage was opened on a Truth Social post, claiming Iran was losing and losing big. We're now starting the process of clearing out the strait. Okay. Trump reiterated the sentiment in a follow-up post saying the United States has completely destroyed Iran's military, including their entire Navy and everything else. The leadership is dead. Hey, Joe's here. What's up, Joe? YouTube disappointed again. No notification. I'm wondering, Joe, if that's possibly because I earlier today, I did some shorts. So I wonder if that screwed it up when you put shorts out. Because I know YouTube will only send out like 2 or 3 notifications a day. So I don't know. I wish they wouldn't send out notifications for shorts. It doesn't make sense. Most LNG ships are steamed from the natural gas. Yeah, well, any ship, like if they're using natural gas, well, some of them have gas. There are ships that use natural gas with gas turbines. So this assertion serves as a massive message to Iran if it continues to demand sovereignty over the strait as condition of war. Tehran justified its threat to target the ship, saying the U.S. was moving a destroyer towards Iran in a possible ceasefire violation. The fast-moving developments unfolded as U.S. and Iranian officials met for negotiations on Saturday in Pakistan. Iranian officials reportedly warned Pakistani mediators that if the vessel continues to move, it will be targeted within 30 minutes. The Iranian-American negotiations will suffer. Oh, what did they do? Did they target it? Did they come after it? Probably wouldn't have been a good idea. Just saying. Just saying. Probably wouldn't have been a good idea. According to the official, Iranian armed forces immediately reacted to the armed destroyer that was moving from port in Faroshahar to the Strait of Hormuz. No action was taken, and 2 Navy-guided missile destroyers were able to pass through the channel. Saw a Mighty Ships documentary on ships, and a lot of ships are steam. Yes, a lot of ships are still steam. Yes. Except for ones that run on diesel, that have diesel engines. But it's a lot more efficient to use boilers to create steam, because then the steam can be used to generate electricity, and then use the electricity to power the motors and electricity to power the rest of the ship. I mean, it just makes sense. No issues were reported, and the move was described as a freedom of navigation mission. The armed forces of Iran continued to closely monitor the vessels after the threats were relayed to the U.S. via Pakistani negotiators. In the talks we have had in Islamabad, our country's position and demands have been conveyed clearly and clearly. Clearly and clearly. What? What does clearly and clearly mean? Oh. And then got this from the Times of Israel. Amid Islamabad talks, U.S. Navy warships transit the Strait of Hormuz for first time since Iran war began. So, yes. There's freedom of navigation. So we'll see. Report says 100 ships crossed Strait of Hormuz in the past month, with many negotiating toll payments from Iran. Iran says talks in the U.S. continue Sunday despite serious disagreements. Here's the thing, though. If they don't want the talks to continue, we have other options. I don't think they'll like the other options. U.S. warships crossed the Strait of Hormuz for the first time since Iran war began. Yes. Epoch Times. U.S. begins clearing mines in the Strait of Hormuz. The operation was confirmed by Central Command on the same day that the peace talks began between Iran and the U.S. Because a lot of people were saying that the reason that the strait was like still kind of closed was because of the mines, and so someone's got to go clear the mines. So 2 U.S. missile destroyers started clearing mines in the Strait of Hormuz on April 11th as peace talks kick off between Washington and the Iranian regime. The sun was beautiful. Yes, it is. Yeah, Jody, what's up? Awesome to see you. Thanks for clicking the plussy. That's right. If everyone could, please hit the like button if you haven't already. Even if you don't like it, just hit the like button anyway. Be a contrarian. Say, even though I don't like it, I'm going to hit the like button. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I mean, we have a goal on this channel to reach 1 million subscribers. Yes. We're trying for 10,000 right now. We're trying to get to 10,000, and then eventually 50,000 or 25, then 50, then 100,000. So that's what we would like to do. Today we began the process of establishing a new passage, and we will share this safe pathway with maritime industry soon to encourage the free flow of commerce. Oh, thank you. Thanks to see you too. God bless America and all those who defend her past and present. That's right. The strait is a massive bargaining chip being taken off the table. It's not really a bargaining chip. It's really not, because there's no way they were going to be allowed to have control over it. I mean, the rest of the world wouldn't sit for it. I mean, how's Bella's ears doing today? They're doing okay. They're doing better today. That treatment yesterday and then the end this morning, and I didn't give her one tonight because it still looked like there was still stuff in there, and you don't want to overdo it because it's called like Paradox or something like Paradox, something like that. It's supposed to put a couple drops in. Like button hit, and I am a subscriber. Well, thank you, Lynn. Yeah, you agreed. Some reason Iran thought they could. I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. If Obama was president right now, he probably would have let him. Because remember, Obama let him take our ship and hold our sailors hostage, told them not to defend themselves, which you don't ever let boarders board your ship. Ever. Never. You fight to the death. You don't surrender. Never surrender. No surrender. People tried to board your ship. You repel borders. So the ships include USS Frank E. Peterson and the Michael Murphy. CENTCOM revealed that the mission on Saturday is part of a broader goal to make the crucial waterways located on the southwest coast of Iran clear of sea mines. Well, it's also on the northeast coast of Oman. President Trump suggested Saturday's operation was a favor to countries all around the world, including China, Japan, South Korea, France, Germany, and many others. Incredibly, don't have the courage or will to do this work themselves. Is there truth to this scandal coming out of the Obama's JCPOA? That's the rumors. The scuttlebutt, as they say, is that there was some monies kicked back to people. Could be maybe is that where Obama got the money to buy a mansion on Martha's Vineyard and property in Hawaii? Because where did Obama become a multi-millionaire? Where did it come from? Where did the money come from? Nobody ever asked Obama where he got the millions and millions and millions of dollars. Oh, wow. Hey, Greeley, what's up, buddy? Great to see you. Obama did what he was planted to do, demoralize Americans. Yes, he did. Epoch Times contacted the Washington White House press office and U.S. CENTCOM for additional information. Saturday's confirmation about the mine clearing came hours after a government vessel was spotted entering the Strait of Hormuz, according to a ship tracking intelligence platform, marinetraffic.com. It's not clear if this was related to CENTCOM's mine clearing mission. See, now places like marinetraffic.com and other AIS-driven software is not supposed to show real-time locations of naval vessels. I saw the map. The demining is being done off the coast of Oman, far away from Iran. Yeah, they're going to make it closer to Oman. As part of the series of posts on Saturday morning, Trump said countries are sending ships to the United States to load up on oil as the Iran war has heavily slowed down oil and gas operations in the Persian Gulf. Ank, what's up, buddy? Good evening, peoples. The updates from Trump came hours after J.D. Vance, Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, and advisor, Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner, arrived in Islamabad, Pakistan, to attend an in-person negotiations with Iranian leaderships. Don't you know that Obama has a Netflix contract? Yeah, but that doesn't explain the money he got way before that. He got. We have 22 minesweepers. Well, I thought we used to use frigates for minesweepers. I didn't know we had any. I thought we got rid of our frigates, but I don't know. What's it say? Jake Gadjoff, don't worry, rumped galvanating to a UFC fight. I don't know what that means. Sarcasm. Okay. All right. Literally 50% of you have hit the like. Can we get it to 100%? As he departed Washington, Vance shared what he hoped was the outcome was going to be positive. The talks, moderated by a Pakistanis, were set to begin at 11 a.m. Eastern time on Saturday. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian said on X that in Persian that the country's delegation will guard its interests with all its might and engage in negotiations with courage. Oh, well, that sounds great. Iranian state TV reported that Iran negotiating teams will only extend their stay if they think that progress can be made. Here's the thing. If they leave, then no, I don't want to say it. Pakistani talks conclude for today, continuing tomorrow. Yeah. We got this. U.S. Navy starts missions to clear mines from Strait of Hormuz. Navy's begun the operations. American and Iranian negotiators will talk in Pakistan. The Navy guided missile destroyers have begun operations in the Arabian Sea. I also saw reports that they were using unmanned underwater drones. So, I don't know. The process, today we began the process of establishing a new passageway. Trump is at the UFC and JD getting ready to give an update. Lol, this had to be planned this way. Oh, Trump is at the UFC. Okay. I'm still waiting. I don't know what's going on. Why I haven't, nothing. It says, nothing yet. Nothing yet. I'm waiting. I have it playing in the background. So as soon as they go live, I'll hear it, but nothing yet. Nothing. Nothing. Opening the strait was a key condition laid out by the U.S. President Donald Trump earlier this week. According to reports, on Friday, the American government does not believe the remnants of the regime are entirely sure about the location of all the mines it dropped. Well, of course they're not sure. I worked on a couple of old ones, getting them ready to give away to other countries. The frigates? Will Trump spank Spain's Pedro Sanchez and tell him that he's been a bad boy? Well, supposedly, I don't know. Supposedly, we have cut off all trade with Spain. I told him no more. Have a nice day. Trump hails golden age in the Middle East, suggests U.S. can make big money at the Strait of Hormuz. New York Times, citing unnamed U.S. officials, reported that said that the members of the IRGC haphazardly dropped mines with small boats in the strait in the immediate aftermath of the initial strikes. The paper reported that it's unknown whether Iran actually recorded all locations of mines dropped in the waterway or whether they were deployed in a manner that allowed them to drift. So likely to make clearing the strait more difficult. The mission has already become made more difficult by the fact that the United Kingdom, which the United States has long relied on to provide minesweeper boats, retired its fleet earlier this year before its next generation of sweepers were ready to come online. Well, that seems pretty dumb. Wondering if Joe Rogan will shake President Trump's hand or if he'll ignore him. Joe Rogan will shake his hand. He's not going to ignore him. That would be idiotic. Doesn't matter. Even if you hate somebody, you shake the president's hand. Commenting on the state of the war, U.S. President Trump wrote on Truth Social, they're just crazy and corrupt, and U.S. destroyed Iran's military. Had 6 Waukesha engines on them with huge flywheels. The engine could spin them up, and they would engage the air clutches hooked to generators and pulse large electric current. Spain hasn't been the same since their armada got sunk. Now, when was that? Was that when was the Spanish Armada? Was that before or after Columbus sailed the ocean blue? The Strait of Hormuz will soon be open. Empty ships are rushing to the U.S. Okay. Vance lands in Pakistan for high-stakes negotiations. Okay. And this says, Iran's missing a burrito supreme leader. Mojtaba Khamenei lost a leg, has severe disfiguring wounds. 1588. Okay. That's what I thought. I thought it was after 1898. Well, no, it's a different one. All wooden holes, non-magnetic. Yeah. And so just so everybody knows, I'm still watching. I'm still waiting. We're still waiting. It just still says waiting. We will begin shortly. Waiting. As soon as it comes online, we will get back to it. Khamenei, 56, was severely wounded in the February 28th airstrike that killed his father. These mark the first detailed accounts to emerge about his condition in 6 weeks since. The younger Khamenei, who was rumored to be gay and impotent. Is it true Spain sold steel to Iran? Probably. We can't trust them. That's the thing. I don't think we can. I think we can't just rely on the old alliances and be like, oh, well, they're our allies. This and that. We have to. Actions speak louder than words. And if people are doing things that are against U.S. interests, they're not our ally. And we need to recognize that and call it out. What are you waiting on? I'm waiting on the speech, the remarks from J.D. Vance from Pakistan. He only likes male goats. Oh, is that what it is? That's what we're waiting on. It was supposed to start at 9. So he's also believed to have lost a leg, a source familiar with the U.S. intelligence said, while recovering from a devastating attack on his father's compound in central Tehran that also wiped out dozens of top regime military leaders. Wow. Dozens of top regime military leaders. Mojtaba Khamenei is still mentally sharp, according to people who spoke on the condition of anonymity, putting to bed the mystery about who's been in charge. The new leader has been meeting with senior Islamic Republic regime officials by audio conferencing. He's also been part of the discussion making on negotiating with Washington to reopen the Strait of Hormuz and end the war. Since he rose to power following his father's assassination, I don't call it assassination. He was killed in bombing. It's not really assassination. He's only had issued 2 written statements. No one has seen, no one so much has heard his voice or seen him, leaving many Iranians to speculate whether he was even alive. It would be ironic if old Majaba had to wear a burqa to go outside. Yes, Islam is bad is sort of a perfect name. The wife of Khamenei, who was among members of his family, also killed in an Israeli strike. There's been no official statements from the regime on the extent of his injuries, but a newsreader on state television recently described him as a janbaz, a term used for disabled war veterans. Jason says that I think Australia's left-wing government froze and didn't know what to do. Most of the countries, UK, South Korea, France, have leftist governments. Yes. Well. The latest accounts of his condition confirmed that the White House had suspected for weeks. Iran has plenty of cameras and voice recorders. Why a written statement? I think you know why. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth told reporters. The so-called not-so-supreme burrito is wounded and likely disfigured. Yes. Where is the cardboard? Where is the cardboard? Images of the Supreme Leader could be released within a month or two, and he might not even appear in public, even if his health and security situation allow, one of the people close to Khamenei's circles said. While he is seen as representing continuity with the regime. Oh, I hear something. Here we go. Ready?
Well, good morning, everybody. And let me say a couple of notes of appreciation. First of all, to the Prime Minister of Pakistan and to Field Marshal Munir, who were both incredible hosts. And whatever shortcomings in the negotiation, it wasn't because of the Pakistanis, who did an amazing job and really tried to help us and the Iranians bridge the gap and get to a deal. We have been at it now for 21 hours, and we've had a number of substantive discussions with the Iranians. That's the good news. The bad news is that we have not reached an agreement, and I think that's bad news for Iran much more than it's bad news for the United States of America. So we go back to the United States having not come to an agreement. We've made very clear what our red lines are, what things we're willing to accommodate them on, and what things we're not willing to accommodate them on. And we've made that as clear as we possibly could, and they have chosen not to accept our terms. Questions?
Sir, Nick Robertson from CNN. Precisely what have they rejected here? Can you help us understand it a little bit?
Oh, well, they rejected a peace.
Well,
I guess that means
I
back
won't go
to
into
war.
all the details because I don't want to negotiate in public after we negotiated for 21 hours in private. But the simple fact is that we need to see an affirmative commitment that they will not seek a nuclear weapon, and they will not seek the tools that would enable them to quickly achieve a nuclear weapon. That is the core goal of the President of the United States, and that's what we've tried to achieve through these negotiations. Again, their nuclear program, such as it is, the enrichment facilities that they had before, they've been destroyed. But the simple question is, do we see a fundamental commitment of will for the Iranians not to develop a nuclear weapon, not just now, not just 2 years from now, but for the long term? We haven't seen that yet. We hope that we will. Jen.
Was there a framework on anything? And also, did the Iranian frozen assets come up? And did you reach any conclusions on those frozen assets?
We talked about all those issues, Jen, and we talked about a number of issues beyond that. And so certainly those things came up. But again, we just could not get to a situation where the Iranians were willing to accept our terms. I think that we were quite flexible. We were quite accommodating. The president told us, you need to come here in good faith and make your best effort to get a deal. We did that. And unfortunately, we weren't able to make any headway. Preston.
Mr. Vice President, how often did you communicate with President Trump throughout the negotiations? There were reports that there were multiple rounds where there were breaks in between negotiations. How often did you communicate with the president throughout those rounds, and what was he saying as you were going through these negotiations that you said fell short?
Yeah, obviously we were talking to the president consistently. I don't know how many times we talked to him, a half dozen times, a dozen times over the past 21 hours. We obviously also talked to Admiral Cooper, to Pete, to Marco, to the entire national security team. We talked to Scott Bessent a number of times. So look, we were constantly in communication with the team because we were negotiating in good faith. And we leave here, and we leave here with a very simple proposal, a method of understanding that is our final and best offer. We'll see if the Iranians accept it. Thank you.
Oh my God. So they're not going to meet tomorrow? I guess they're not going to meet tomorrow. Does that mean that war's back on? Does it mean the war's back on? What do we think? Do we think that means the war's back on? How can we even trust them to do anything? I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe the U.S. and the U.S. needs to just start patrolling the Strait of Hormuz and force it open. You know, I mean, we did that in the 80s. You know, when Ronald Reagan was president, when there was the tanker wars and all this stuff, and they were blowing up stuff, we just decided, we went in there and said, okay, fuck around and find out. And I guess that's going to have to be the way it's going to have to be. That's it. Back to business. That's what it sounds like. No sense talking to Iran. How many times did the offer changed? I don't know. Yes, the war is still on. Okay. My job is the one voice, and it will not be the decisive one. He needs to prove himself as a credible, powerful, overriding voice. The regime as a whole has to make a decision in terms of where they're going to go. No deal. Trump at the UFC. America. Okay. Probably a good thing since idiots are setting fire to California businesses. There you go. Let's say walked Miss Maisie. Vance's announcement started 44 minutes ago. Been waiting. No, it just started now. I watched it. I watched it live. Yeah, FAFO, motherfucker. That's right, Christine. That's right. And this is the same thing from GB News. Iran's new Supreme Burrito Supreme Leader has severely disfigured face, but is still alive, as Inner Circle says. So this is a strike on the bunker, I guess? Boom. Wow. Look at that. Wow, that looks pretty serious. That was a pretty serious strike. Wow, that's some serious strikes on the bunker. Democrats are exploding. Looks like another win for Trump. You think they launched drones at our ships today? If they launch drones at our ships today, then it's on. It's on like Donkey Kong. You know what I'm saying? Yes, we will start momentarily to White House YouTube. Yes, that's I had it on. I played it, Karen. We listened to it. As soon as it went live, as soon as I heard it go live, I switched over to it. Wow. Wow, that's some underground bunkers getting hit and all types of stuff. That's some good videos. It's open season if they attacked our ships. Yeah. I mean, so the Democrats, the demon rats, will have to make a decision whose side they're on. America's or the Iranians. I mean, we know they're on the side of the illegals as opposed to the Americans. Our biggest threat to national security is ignorance. Yes, don't touch our boats. That's right, Muffin Rando. Never, ever touch our ships. Don't touch our boats. Ever, 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 ever. Says no photographs, video footage, or audio recordings of Khamenei have been publicly released since he took office. Same thing from Jerusalem Post. Says Khamenei suffers severe disfiguring wounds. Same thing from Reuters. Iran's Burrito Supreme suffers severe disfiguring wounds. I heard England and France volunteered to help define the demine the area, or define or demine the area. Well, they should. That would be the way to go. I mean, but great. I watched it all. Had tab open, waiting 42 minutes. Oh, okay. I thought you said it started 42 minutes ago. My bad. Wait, what? Sorry, I'm late. Are we done talking? It sounds like we're done talking. That's what basically JD Vance came out and said. We gave him our best offer. They said no. So I guess it's on. 82nd must be in a theater. Jared Kushner's right behind Vance with a smirk. Got what he wanted. I don't think anybody really wanted this with this. What were the arguments for the JCPOA would have stopped long-range missiles? No. And the JCPOA only had these limits on the number of centrifuges they could have for 10 years, which was going to expire if Trump didn't cancel it. And they would have been able to do whatever they wanted. And the JCPOA did nothing. It did nothing at all. It didn't say they couldn't. It didn't do shit. It didn't do shit. How could it have done anything if Iran had, 700 or almost 800 kilograms of 60% enriched uranium? Yeah. Who keeps wanting what we don't want? Oh, okay. I think I get you now. He was wounded, and there's been no official statement. So, well, maybe Lindsey Graham wanted it. Well, Lindsey Graham wanted it, and he doesn't want it, and now he's in a tight race for primary race, so he keeps going back and forth. Plus, they wouldn't allow inspections after agreeing to do so. Yes. I mean, how did they refine that much uranium that they said they could make 11 bombs? I mean, they said that. They said, we have enough to make 11 bombs. You can't stop us. That's when they got bombed. I mean, that's when it started. It's like, oh, you do? Okay. All right. Sounds like Obama can kicker in chief. Yeah. Yeah. Now, also, you need to remember that the Obama administration had numerous Iranians in his cabinet, like people that they know for a fact. So did Biden. Like actual people that were working for Iran, they got caught. Like, So empty gas tankers heading for the U.S. for oil and gas. 130 pounds of enriched is enough to make a lot of bombs. Well, they had 800 pounds of 60% enriched, or 60% pure, or something like that. So that's quite a bit. Trump said on Saturday that large numbers of completely empty oil tankers were heading to the United States to load up on oil and gas. His post came after senior U.S. and Iranian officials were meeting in Islamabad with Pakistanis. And Tehran laid down its red lines and said Washington must accept before face-to-face talks could take place to end the 6-week war. I guess we're going to have to soften them up a little more. Trump said earlier this week Iran should not charge fees for tankers going through a blockaded strait, which has caused the worst disruption to global oil energy supplies in history. Let me do a real double quick check here and just look at oil prices today, where we're at. Still low. Oh. We're still supposedly yeah, here, so I'll show you real quick. So it's still showing crude oil at 89.11 and Brent crude is at 94.45. So that's the difference. It's like a $5 difference between US oil and overseas oil. Are the talks still on for Sunday? I don't think so. Honestly, I don't think so. That's not the way JD said. We gave him our last offer, and that's that. So, completely empty tankers heading to the U.S. to load up for oil and gas. Yeah, so massive numbers of completely empty oil tankers, some of the largest anywhere in the world, are heading right now to the United States to load up on the best and sweetest oil and gas anywhere in the world. We have more oil than the next two largest oil economies combined and higher quality. We are waiting for you. Quick turnaround. Nothing will happen until JD clears airspace. Yeah, until they get out of there. I was always a little worried, Joe, about them being in Islamabad. Islamabad is not a safe place for Americans. Never has been. I'm glad to hear they no longer use dolphins as minesweepers or detection. Your gas went down 20 cents overnight. In a follow-up post, Trump said efforts were underway to clear out the strait. Okay. Trump also criticized what he described as fake news media. Oh, I always criticize the fake news media. Ships are going down around the Cape now. You talking about the Cape of Good Hope? Aren't offers made high, may accept lower? I don't know. Didn't Lindsey Graham say the Russians are dying, best money we ever spent? In my opinion, as somebody who should never decide on American lives. Yes. Yes, I don't understand. I don't understand who picked Islamabad. A bit dangerous. Yes. 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 Very dangerous. Islamabad is not tip of the continent. That's what I'm saying. You're talking about the Cape of Good Hope, south, around South Africa. You're talking about South America. Which Cape? Like, yes. Okay. Iran's decision to close the strait. But why South Africa? Why would they go all that way? Why wouldn't they just cut through? And this is a question. Unless they're going to go, like, why wouldn't they just cut through the Suez Canal? It can't go through the Suez Canal because the Suez Canal too small? Different area, if I'm reading correctly, Ari Cape. Below the Suez. Oh, you're talking about the Cape around the Cape of Oman or whatever, the Gulf of Oman or whatever, the Cape there to head through Suez to come across. It shows we're not afraid of them to meet there. Okay, yeah, I guess so. Commercial vessels have largely avoided the narrow waterway with disruption driving up energy prices, an increase of more than 30%. Before the war, roughly 1/5 of the world's oil traveled through the strait. I spent 3 years at Point Mugu, and met the dolphins they were training. I am glad they aren't sacrificing them anymore. They are beautiful, friendly animals. Yes, they are. They are not. I know, I got it. They aren't sacrificing them. I got it. I figured it out. Trump signals tankers headed to the U.S. to load up on sweetest oil. We're waiting for you. Oh, what's this?
To know if Iran is serious about the peace. Kelly, I'm thrilled to have you. You just talked to the president moments ago.
Yeah.
What is he telling you?
So we saw that he posted on True Social, which I believe you showed that, talking about how the U.S. has this massive oil and gas supply. So we called him after he posted that. He did pick up and asked him about that initially, what he meant by that. And I wanted to say what he told me, just a complete quote, saying, "Take a look out of the great seas of our world, many of them heading to the U.S. to load up with oil. We have plenty of it." I asked him if this is because Iran isn't opening up the Strait of Hormuz. We've been talking about that a lot, impacting the global oil supply. He said that it isn't because of that. He says that will open, quote, in the not too distant future, which is interesting, though, because that was a part of the ceasefire agreement. He said Iran's a failing nation. He also said, I think people are going to see there are other alternatives to going through the strait. I also asked if the talks have officially begun, because there were comments that they haven't actually sat down. They need to get through this initial kind of handshake phase and then get down to the nitty-gritty. He said they have talked. I asked if he feels as though the Iranians are acting in good faith, and he told me, I'll let you know that in a very short period of time. He said it won't take long. So we're still, it was about a 2-minute phone call, getting a couple other quotes, but he did warn that if the talks don't go well, they are ready to act. So a big phone call there with the president on a massive day of crucial talks that could indicate if we continue this war or if we don't.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. So Trump said Saturday morning, massive numbers of empty tankers are headed to the U.S. Massive numbers, completely empty oil tankers, some of the largest anywhere in the world, are heading right now. Talks come just days after Trump announced a 2-week ceasefire. One of only a few tankers managed to get through the strait before it was restricted again Wednesday in response to Israeli attacks on Hezbollah. Trump also slammed the Iranian regime's plan to charge the cryptocurrency equivalent of $1 each barrel of oil on board the ships to transit the strait, saying on Thursday they better not be. An early Saturday morning phone call with News Nation. Here's the thing. In actuality, any country that paid the money to Iran would have been running afoul of U.S. sanctions. Like, so if France or Italy or Japan or Korea or any country paid the cryptocurrency money to Iran, they would be violating sanctions. I think UN sanctions even, and maybe not, or US, and then also other things would happen with those countries. So, you know, yeah, it would be a problem. Iran's a failing nation. Yes, they are. Starting the process of clearing out the Strait. Strait's also been at the heart of Trump's frustration with European allies who've been reluctant to deploy military assets to help secure safe passage for the tankers. You got to have safe passage for the tankers. You gotta. Hold on one second here. Same thing here. Trump says empty tankers. All right. Now we got this story. It says intelligence, exclusive. U.S. intelligence indicates China is preparing weapons shipment to Iran amid fragile ceasefire, sources say. I didn't expect any deals. Those Iranians are insane. So look at this. The flags of Iran and the CCP fly in Beijing's Tiananmen Square. Well, you know, both countries, they got lots of things in common. They both like to slaughter their own people. So U.S. intelligence indicates that China is preparing to deliver new air defense systems to Iran within the next few weeks, according to three people familiar with the recent intelligence assessments. The maximum size of a ship that can pass through the Suez Canal is defined by the Suez Max specification, which includes draft up to 20 meters to beam approximately 77 meters. So that probably means that most of those super tankers can't make it through. Hey, Boom Shakalaka, what's up? Hello, everybody. Lisa says, did Tillerson party already go to China? I don't think so. It would be a provocative move, considering Beijing said it helped broker the fragile ceasefire that paused the war. President Trump is also set to visit China early next month for talks with Xi Jinping. The intelligence also underscores how Iran may be using the ceasefire as an opportunity to replenish certain weapons systems with the help of key foreign partners. Two of the sources told CNN that there are indications that Beijing is working to route the shipments through third countries to mask their true origin. The systems Beijing is prepared to transfer are shoulder-fired anti-air missiles known as manpads, which somebody named Jim said about a week ago or so, earlier this week, when that's what shot down the F-15, and it was a Chinese, a manpad. That was a manpad Chinese, shot it down, which posed an asymmetric threat to low-flying U.S. military aircraft throughout the course of the 5-week war and could again if the ceasefire falls apart. Asked by CNN on a Saturday about the intelligence and whether they had spoken to Xi about the issue, Trump indicated that Beijing would face consequences if it sent weapons to Tehran. If China does that, China will have big problems, okay? Big problems, okay? A spokesman for the Chinese embassy said China has never provided weapons to any party to the conflict. The information in question is untrue. Yeah, so China is suicidal, is what I hear. Yes. It would be an immediate. He could put an embargo on all goods coming out of China. They could freeze all money going into China. I mean, everything I've seen, all the economics people I've seen, that if the U.S. money stops going into China for just 6 weeks, China goes belly up. Yeah. Someone is Wong. Yes. Something Wong. VLCC is 20 by 60 meters. You got it, my friend. As a responsible major country, China consistently fulfills its international obligations. We urge the U.S. side to refrain from making baseless allegations, maliciously draw connections, and engaging in sensationalism. We hope that relevant parties will do more to de-escalate the tensions. You need to do your laundry. You want to fly lies? I want a ton. Ego drop of super. Earlier this week, an embassy spokesperson told CNN that since the U.S. Israeli war, Beijing has been working hard to help bring about ceasefire, end the conflict. It's a Wong on so many levels. Close off the Strait of Malacca, and China is cooked. That's right. That's right. Trump indicated during a press conference on Monday that the F-15 fighter jet shot down over Iran last week was hit by a handheld shoulder missile, a heat-seeking missile, and Tehran said it had used a new air defense system to hit the jet without providing more details. It's unclear whether that system was Chinese manufactured. It was. It flew in on the 10 cargo planes that came in. Hey, Renee Collins, I'm late. I hate that. I hate that too. I hate that too. I can't believe you're late. I mean, not that. I can't believe YouTube didn't send out notifications. Everyone is telling me that. So it's a very, very upsetting. Shipping man-pads to Iran would mark an escalation in China's support for the country since the U.S. and Israel launched their joint military campaign in February. You think? Chinese companies have continued to sell the Iranian-sanctioned dual-use technology that enables Tehran to keep building weapons and enhance its navigation systems. Sources say the Chinese government directly transferring weapon systems would mark a new level of assistance. The ULCC is 35 by 63. Guess that the big boy's 66 by 200 feet. Oh, yes. Very, very big. Very, very big. Trump is expected to meet with Xi next month in Beijing. And the White House said Wednesday that high-level talks had taken place between U.S. and China as Iran ceasefire negotiations played out earlier this week. 115-foot draft plus 200 feet wide. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. One of the sources familiar with the intelligence said China sees no real strategic value in overtly entering the conflict and trying to protect Iran against the U.S. and Israel, which they know would be unwinnable. Instead, Beijing is trying to position itself as a continued friend to Iran. Oh, we are a friend to you. China is as a whole. China is as a whole. We need Jack Burton. Yes, we need Jack Burton. Yes. We need him to go after David Lopan. Like and subscribe, hit the notifications, select all chat notifications and drop down. Yes, thanks for being here. Thank you for being a friend, Brian Ogden. Yeah, they depend on Iranian oil while remaining outwardly neutral. They're not neutral. Sources say that China could also make an argument that air defense systems are defensive rather than offensive in nature, differentiating their support from that of Russia. Moscow has been providing support to the Iranian regime throughout the course of the war in the form of intelligence sharing that has helped the Iran Navy proactively target U.S. troops and assets in the Middle East. As a whole, China is as a whole. Iran has long had established military and economic relations with both China and Russia. Iran has aided Russia extensively in its war on Ukraine throughout the provision of Shahed drones. It also sells China the bulk of its sanctioned oil. The story has been updated with additional developments. Jerusalem Post says China plans to deliver air defense systems to Iran in coming weeks. According to intelligence outlined in the CNN report, the systems pose an asymmetric threat. They're man-pads. Two sources. Yes, because they could be flown in on... please check out Robert Gavea if you haven't. I'm pretty sure like everybody here is fans of Robert, but if you're not, check him out, man. If I could be 1/10 of the streamer, 1/4 of the streamer Robert is, I would be amazing. An amazing streamer. He is just hands down. He is great, man. He's great. The report highlighted how Iran is using the ceasefire to replenish certain weapon systems and assistance from key foreign partners. Know about that? China is lying. China is lying. They're lying. And here's the Reuters say same thing. U.S. intelligence indicates China preparing the weapons shipments to Iran. Yes, love Bobby G. Rob is awesome. Rob is great. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. State Department, White House, and Chinese embassy in Washington did not immediately respond to Reuters' request for comments. Beijing preparing to transfer a soldier-fired missile system to Iran, known as meteors. And Iran and U.S. are in high-level negotiations. Same thing from Korea Press. Kiev. This is from Kiev Post. U.S. intelligence suggests China may supply anti-aircraft systems to Iran. China right or rot. They do. China right or rot. They do. They do. Meteors. Hey, Catherine K, what's up? Great to see you. Your Jim is on. I don't know what happened with YouTube tonight. They did not send any notifications to anybody, it seems. No notifications. What's up, SV Farmer? Great to see you. All right. And then this is kind of, I don't know, this kind of got blown out of the water by Vance's announcement. Vance arrives in Pakistan for talks with Iranian officials to shore up shaky ceasefire. Auto Jim? What does that mean? Auto Jim. You got notifications? Peace on China. A peace on a China. A peace on a China. U.S. delegation led by Vance arrived in Pakistan for high-level talks. I don't know. Should I even cover this story? Because it kind of got blown out of the water. Ceasefire brokered by Pakistanis. Iranian delegation arrived on Saturday, led by Parliament Speaker Baghdad Al-Quaf Beef. Man pad sounds like something Tim Wolf would use. Yes, he puts the pads in the men's room. Yes, he does. YouTube as a whole, lol. He accused them of using the strait, a key artery, for extortion. Auto Gym is a compliment to your every-awareness. Well, thank you. I told you, YouTube is as a whole. Yes, look at this machete-wielding maniac who stabbed 3 elderly strap holders, called himself Lucifer. We have that story. We're going to cover it later. The normally bustling streets of Islamabad were deserted Saturday morning as security forces sealed roads ahead of the talks. Pakistani authorities urged residents to stay inside, leading the city to look like it was under a curfew. Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif said the conflict was entering a difficult phase as sides try to shift from a temporary pause to a more lasting settlement. Not going to happen. Ain't going to happen. Ain't going to happen. Ain't going to happen. Vance is leading negotiations. Before his departure, he said he believed it would be positive, but then we just heard him say, yeah, they just refused everything, so oh well. Negotiations between Israel and Lebanon are expected to begin Tuesday in the U.S. Capitol. Lebanese President Joseph Aoun's office said Friday, Beirut is keen to hold direct talks to end the war between Israel and Hezbollah, but under the ceasefire similar to the one with Iran. Israel wants the Lebanese government to assume responsibility for disarming Hezbollah, which much like it was envisioned in a November 2024 ceasefire. It's unclear whether Lebanon's army can establish a monopoly on arms or confiscate weapons from a militant group. Why not? Why not? I've seen pictures of them doing it before. Israel's insistence that the ceasefire in Iran does not include a pause in fighting with Hezbollah has threatened to sink the deal. The day the truce was announced, Israel pounded Beirut with airstrikes, killing more than 300 people. Yes, Jim is a bad influence. I can't even say Pakistanis anymore. I'm sorry. sorry. So sorry. So very sorry. Trump said on Thursday he asked Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu to dial back the strikes. Then on Friday, Israeli warplanes struck near a state security office in the southern town of Nabatah, killing 13 officers. Israeli forces said they also hit 10 rocket launchers in Lebanon that had fired towards northern Israel. So the Strait of Hormuz remains a sticking point. It sent oil prices skyrocketing. Well, not really. We saw them go down. Spot price of Brent crude, the international standard, was around 97 on Friday, up more than 30% since the war started. Before the conflict, around a fifth of the world's oil tripled. Yeah, we saw this. So with the ceasefire in place, only 12 have been recorded passing through. Well, we'll see. We shall see. We shall see what happens. That's what we shall see. So Iran ceasefire talks underway. Is this a video? So what do we got here? I don't hear any sound. No sound. Hey, how you doing? What are you doing? Hi. I'll take some shawarma. Yes. Give me 3 gyros, 3 gyros, and a side of lamb. The media will say JD failed. No one rings are possible to negotiate with. The Iran and even the conservative channels of Europe seem to be on the side of Iran. Well, I can't ever be on the side of Iran. as far as I'm concerned, we still owe them a couple thousand revenge for a couple thousand dead Marines. Yes, we shall see, said the blind man. That's right. Look at this. Brian Ogden's the first to donate tonight. Thank you so much, Brian. With that $10, that means we are now just $90 away from adding a first additional hour to the show and only $40 away from Bellavision. Thank you so much, Brian. Thank you, Brian. Thank you. Thanks, Brian. So here he is shaking hands. Yes, okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll blow up your country next if you don't fuck around. Yeah, here you go. What do you want? Yeah. Okay, thank you much. Before departing, Vance cautioned Tehran against attempting to play the United States. Well, I think they think they're playing. And this says, Galibaf-led delegation arrives in Islamabad for talks as Iran preconditions remain. Well, same thing here. This says, Vance in Islamabad for Iran talks overshadowed by mutual distrust. So, Vice President J.D. Vance arrives in Islamabad on Saturday for talks with Iran. Warring sides called a make-or-break effort to permanently halt the weeks of fighting. Well, yeah, it's this make-or-break. So if they say no, based. Yes, if they say no, that's what it is. Xi's English name is Ryan. Oh, look at this. America First is let me be number 2. Thank you so much, America First, 1776. That means we are now just $85 away from adding a first additional hour to the show this Saturday night and only $35 away from Bellavision. Thank you, Brian. Yes, thank you, Brian. Thank you, America First. Is that Islamabad? Islam is bad? Yes, that's Islam is bad. Yes, thank you so much. Yes, thank you. They did say no. They said no deal. Okay. Europe seems to be delusional about Iran. The Lotus Eaters are saying Iran missiles that almost hit Diego Garcia was an Israeli conspiracy. They seem terrified of their population. Yeah, I can't believe the Lotus Eaters would say that. Apparently, China is entering the war on the side of Iran. Oh, well, I guess it is World War III then. I don't know. Seems kind of dumb for China. Because if the flow of monies, thank you so much. If the flow of monies into China from the U.S. stop, 6 weeks. That's how long they'll last. 6 weeks. That's what all the economists say. 6 weeks, and they can no longer pay their military, pay their bills. They're fucked. Because they have to buy everything with hard currency. Nobody will take their money for anything. So they have to have like U.S. money or hard currency. So they'll be screwed. Rally. Thank you, Sunshine. Rally. That means we are now 83 away from adding a first additional hour to the show and only 33 away from Bellavision. I guess we are going to cut off trade again with China. We should really cut trade off with China, in all honesty. We really should. I have a hard time believing CNN articles. Yeah, me too. Yes, thank you, Sunshine. Thank you, Sunshine. Iranian delegation led by Parliament Speaker he bags a Gal Baff, says that shares a rapport with President Trump. He also greeted Vance, escorted him to the red carpet at the Nur Khan Air Base. Foes still appear to be far apart on key issues, including opening the strait, and were quick to express their mutual suspicion. Look at this. We got a rally going on here. Another $2 from Terry. Thank you, Terry. Thank you so much, Terry. And another $2 from Lisa. Thank you. That means now we are only $79 away from adding a first additional hour to the show. And only $29 away from Bellavision. I don't know. When I'm in a good mood, I say it like that. I don't know why. The Chia Pet country will any opportunity to undermine the U.S. Yeah, they will. They'll do that. World War III, Jim. Get your uniform, Jim. Meet you in Tampa by the C-130. Hey, you know what? If it came to it, I would go. If it was in a serious, no bullshit. If we were in a serious world war like that, all China trying to take us out, I'd go. I don't know if they'd want me, but I'd go. We will make a lot of money selling oil to countries that cannot go through the strait now. Sure. Come on, everybody, just $2. We have good intentions, but we do not trust, said Galbef. Oh, the Iranians say they have good intentions, but they do not trust us. Okay. Well, we have good intentions, but we don't trust you. Our experience in negotiating with the Americans has always been met with failure and broken promises. Yeah, on their part. They always break their promises. Vance, who has been dispatched by Trump to lead the U.S. delegation, stopped briefly in Paris for his plane to refuel. You'll come take care of Bella? Well, thank you. Thank you so much. I've always wondered, it's kind of hard with Bella for me to take trips and stuff. Oh, look at this. Brian says, make it 69, dude. Thank you so much, Brian. Wow, with that means we are 69, dude. Away from adding a first additional hour to the show and only $19 away from Bellavision. $19 away from Bellavision. Wow. Thank you so much. They have never been friends or allies. They have always been adversaries. That's true. Always. Always, always, always. Iranians are willing to negotiate in good faith. No, they're not. If they are, yeah, but they're not. But if they are, but they're not. But if they're going to try to play us, they're going to find out negotiating team is not that receptive. Ceasefire is already under strain because of Israel, which Israel needs to knock it off. I mean, seriously, they do. They need to knock it off. So this stage, which in English is called make or break. Yes. Yeah, I was going to say, you said come take care of Bella. Bella, it's always hard to travel for me because of Bella. So I usually have to take her with me when I go places, so it's kind of hard. So Iranian state television made only brief mention of the talks in the first morning program, with its second report dedicated to volunteers signing up to defend Iran in the event of the war resumed. Well, why would they need people to volunteer? I thought they had all these people. I thought they had 1 million people. So Islam is bad plays host. Iran brought more than 70-member delegation to Pakistan. I wonder how many of them are going to try to stay there. How many do you think are going to try to stay there? Hey, Lynn P., what's up? Says, how you doing, Duck Fat? I wonder, they brought 70. I wonder if a bunch are going to try to stay safe, and Islam is bad. On the U.S. side, President Trump demanded the opening of the strait. Which one? Yeah, we saw this. All right. We saw this. And this is, Trump says, we are preparing U.S. military if the talks fail. Well, be funny if they all defected. It would be, wouldn't it? It would be. Like you saw what happened when all the stuff was going on. Israel needs to be told publicly by POTUS to stop the crap. I know. I think that he wouldn't want to. I don't think Trump would want to shame him like that. You know what I mean? Like it's like for appearances and stuff. It'd be like a. But there was if they all defected. Remember the soccer players? I agree too, but Trump probably wouldn't want to it'd be very embarrassing if he did that for Netanyahu. When all the soccer players tried to defect and then they ended up. The Iranians went and rounded up their family and said, if you don't come back, we're going to kill your family. But no one cares about that. And everyone's saying how Iran's the good people. Yeah. Trump says Iran has no cards. Iran makes clear Lebanon fighting must end or Pakistan talks are meaningless. Trump threatens more military action if Iran doesn't comply, says Iran has no cards. Lloyd's, the Iranians are willing to negotiate with certain countries to secure voyages, but only on a case-by-case basis. A handful of mostly Iranian China-linked tankers have passed in the last 24 hours. Jim, fuck them if they can't take a joke. We are the bigger fish. Oh, I know, but... Oh, April 11th is National Pet Day. Love the Bella. Oh, man, it's National Pet Day. Love the Bella. There's Bella. We'll look at Bella for a minute here. Yes, we'll look at Bella for a minute here. Check her out. There she is. Rockets. Yeah. Oh, no. Trump Trump wouldn't tie Israel's hands like that. They receive rockets. Yeah. Netanyahu needs to be embarrassed after they said they wouldn't fight with us and for all the money we've sent them, and Trump needs to do it for the U.S. Oh, wow. What? Rockets Daily. Okay, Rockets Daily. Goes, hey, what's up, Wheezy Bob? Yes. And look at this, Brian Hogg did for 5. Thank you so much, Brian. I'm going to have to look now. I think. Let's see here. That means we are now $64 away and $14 away from Bellavision. I got to look real quick because I think Brian might have donated more than $25. 10, 20. Yes, Brian did donate $25. So that means, thanks to Brian, we are now just $64 away from the first additional hour of the show, and Bella is activated. Thank you, Brian. Iran agreed to a ceasefire. Hezbollah kept firing rockets at Israel. Then Iran said it doesn't have control of the rockets in the field, and they say they want a ceasefire in Lebanon. Yeah, come on, man. I know. Israel isn't shelling Iran. They're shelling Lebanon. No, I know. Bellavision. Yeah, Bella. I know. I'm just saying, but I'm saying if Trump, if, and this is a big if, all right? I don't know if it's true or not, but it kind of almost sounded to me like reading between the lines that, maybe Trump told Israel that knock it off and they didn't listen. Now, if that's true, then that's a problem. I don't know if it's true, but if true, it's a problem. That's all. That's all I'll say. That's all I'll say about that. That's all I'll say about that. Bella. If you're going to pull the trigger, okay, never mind. I thought that was something else. Well, there's a delegation of Pakistanis arriving. Or no, Iranians arriving in Pakistanis. I wonder if I think Iran controls Lebanon. Pretty much elected government of Lebanon. Yeah. Here's the thing. Like, you could really, and this says U.S.-Iran peace summit in Pakistan concludes with no deal. Talks to continue on Sunday. I don't know if this is true or not. Anyone remember riding a bicycle and someone threw a stick in your spokes? Reminds me of this. Yeah. I actually know someone that happened to. I really do. Wrecked the bike. Iran controls Hezbollah. Hezbollah controls Lebanon. After October 7th, I think Israel has free reign to protect themselves. Yeah. I concur. So it says the first rounds of talks went on well into the evening, and face-to-face meetings concluded without the announcement of a resolution. 2 U.S. warships. Now, here's the thing, though. I have a feeling that no one's want to talk about that video we watched of J.D. Vance was Sunday morning in Pakistan. It wasn't Saturday night. So when they say it's over and that's it and they left, does that mean like maybe echo? You're hearing an echo? You hear an echo? What? PayPal maybe twice. Would tick Mike. Now China is going to arm Iran. Uh-oh. It does look like it came through twice, Mr. Woodtick Mike. So that's $10. It looks twice, $10, I think. Thank you for the 10, Woodtick Mike. Thank you so much. That means we are now just $54 away from adding a first additional hour to the show. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So China is behind them all. China wants some. Yeah, maybe. Did you know his older brother was killed in a raid on Entebbe? Yes. No echoing? Okay. Someone said echo, echo. I didn't know what that meant. It's okay? All right. BB's brother was killed. Yeah. With China, nuke will have to be used. No, I don't think so. Honestly, I don't think so. I don't think it'll come to that. I really don't. I don't think it'll come to that. I don't. I mean, they might try to. Honestly, China might go nuclear if they're, But I think once. Hey, what's up, Just Dawn, Souls Ginger? Great to see you. Still doesn't make it okay for him to shame the president like he has. Yeah. But the thing about China is like, if they get completely destabilized because they don't have money to pay anybody and they can't get food, they can't get anything. Just me and America was saying the same thing, echoing each other. Okay, I get it now. Yes. Hey, B Hops, what's up? Great to see you. Thanks for being here tonight. All right, now we got this. It says, Washington denies media reports that U.S. agreed to unfreeze Iranian assets. This article was written before Vance speaking. Sounds like it's over after 24 hours of talk, gets Vance out of there. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, this was saying, like, we saw the Iranians arriving. They arrived at night, and Vance said good morning because it was morning in Pakistan. So, and it's Sunday morning in Pakistan, to be exact. So, if he said it was over, that's it. We gave him our best offer, and they said no, then that's it. It's over. Nothing else to talk about. They're not ready yet. Jet says, let the darkness test the edges of the path we cannot see. We answer with a deeper tone and unity. Our song does not deny the risk and promise. Easy ground, it simply says we move forward and will not turn around. What were the points Iran were making? Is the 15-point plan real? I don't know. There's been a lot of the Vance presser just got out. No deal. Yeah, he said no. Back to blowing Iran up. That's right. I don't trust any of these articles at this point. Yeah, me neither. Me neither. I trust nothing. What just happened? What just happened? What just happened? What the frick? Jonathan Marcos, what's up? Great to see you. They wanted to have nukes, and we said no. Yeah, they want a bunch of stuff. They want us to give them money. They said we want our money, so you're not getting your money. Solar flares. There's actually a very interesting story, which maybe I'll pull up after this. Sunshine, he can't control the crap people like Candace Tucker and Demspin. That's right. Maybe after this story. U.S. official on Saturday denied media reports that the Washington agreed to unfreeze Iran assets held in Qatar. Qatari Tatar. Hold on one second. Sorry. Bella needs adjusting. Okay. It's 7:30 a.m. in Islamabad. Yeah, well, he said good morning. That's what I'm saying. He said good morning, so I don't know what that means. If he The official said the claim was false, noting that the meeting between the delegates from the U.S. and Iran had not even started at the time the reports were published. Pakistan is holding negotiations to the end of extensive Middle East armed conflict with the U.S. and Israeli offensive. Nearly 3,000 Iranians were killed in the war, according to the country's health authorities, and at least 13 U.S. service members were also killed and dozens wounded. Epoch Times reporting the talks have ended. Okay. So we got this. All right, share this thing. This is very, very important for everybody. Ready?
Good morning, folks. Welcome, observers. It is Friday, April 10th, 2026, and today we're going to be covering just a few to-dos and points of interest. Nothing special, really. Hey, look, the sun. That's pretty. Incidentally, does anyone remember me telling you the disaster and magnetic pole shift narrative was going to get hijacked, and it would be your turn to step up? I mentioned that for absolutely no reason at all. This is the last 24 hours on our star. Very calm, very quiet. No flares or eruptive activity. That huge plasma filament is still holding steady. The coronal hole solar wind will arrive today. Minor geomagnetic storms expected tonight. Sunspot risk is low. So, who saw last night's video? Oh boy, did I get busy after that video release. Turns out there's a number of people considerably worried that we may have a dramatic event during this one. I'll describe that in a separate video tonight, but if you didn't catch this one last night, the people who contacted me last night work for a major university and the other works at NASA. I'd take a minute to watch the video and then see if you can guess what the experts are extra scared of before I come back this evening. Oh, and while you're at it, that other thing I mentioned, the fourth Joe Rogan guest discussing the pole shift, two of them mentioned me. Joe Rogan follows me on X. I've never wanted to go on a show so badly. And then there's Alex Jones, and who? Some neurologist is the guy who talks about this. Okay, you know, Alex and I have talked. I've been on his show before. I'm telling you, this narrative is next. After the war, the Israel question, and a bit more economic squeezing of the population. But I'm going to say it. It's your turn now. When you see these posts, you know what to say.
Yeah, you know what to say. So that's what they that's what they're talking about. All right, they're talking about, you know, comets will spray the Earth in 17 days. All right.
Throughout history, the appearance of comets is the foundation of lore and myth. While an interesting comet came through the solar system at the start of the month, there is another on its way. It won't put on a show quite like this, but it could be very relevant for our planet. This is the latest photo of the new comet Pan-STARRS C-2025 R3, discovered in September last year and heading in towards the inner solar system now. Unlike comet maps and many comets which favor southern hemisphere entries, this one is coming in from the north. As I toggle the NASA orbital diagram for it, we can see the plane of the planet's orbit and the comet orbit line in white coming in from the north, exiting to the south of the solar system. What makes this comet relevant is its passage nearly directly between the sun and the Earth. It hits the orbital plane just a couple days away from a true alignment. That means that its ion and dusty tail will be pointed almost directly at the Earth as it passes through the inner solar system, and that material could be directly added to the Earthbound solar wind plasma. There is no chance of impact, but the comet is expected to be tremendously bright when it cuts through here in about 2 weeks. By the time we would be experiencing chemically altered solar wind, the comet would be beginning to exit the solar system to the south. So now, let's see what we know about the comet so far. It is diatomic carbon dominant. Its color is the C2 fluorescence. Hydrocarbon dominance means low cyanogens. That's good news. It is also very dust poor. Also considered a pretty good thing in this case. Gas production is rapidly increasing, however, and so more detailed chemical analysis would be desirable in the days ahead. I hope we get it. Its maximum tail length in terms of the visible portion is expected to be approximately 0.3 AU, 30% of the distance between the sun and the Earth. So if we take a look at the comet's passage, the day it's almost aligned with the sun and the Earth, looking down on the solar system from the north, the comet's tail, if it reaches that maximum length, would be about this long. While it would not quite extend from just outside Mercury's orbit all the way to Earth, that material doesn't vanish. It just disperses beyond visible recognition. It's still there, streaming directly away from the sun in the solar wind. And that will directly intersect the Earth about 2 to 5 days after its April 24th planar piercing, arriving at Earth the 26th through the 29th.
Wow.
Good news is most of the scary stuff like cyanide gas and heavy dust appears to be absent. What will happen during the chemical and plasmic interaction? We're going to find out before the end of the month. I'll see you in the morning for the Daily Show.
Wow. So we're going to find out by the end of the month what's going to happen. Cool. All right. So this says, this next story says, so we know why the Iranians can't fully open the straits. We had a 7-ton asteroid 3 weeks ago sent on X. Yeah. Crazy, right? Crazy, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Some crazy stuff going on, right? Let's do this quick here. Yeah, so we have this one. There was just a couple weeks ago.
Good afternoon, everyone. Brian Duffy live in the 19 News digital studios as we continue to follow our breaking news here of this incredible issue that we dealt with this morning with this meteor, an eventual meteorite here in Northeast Ohio. Before I get to the breaking news on this issue, which is some incredible news from NASA, I want to just take a step back and think about what we've been dealing with here in Northeast Ohio since Friday. Okay, consider this. In the last 5 days, we had a major windstorm with wind gusts up to 80 miles an hour, knocking out power for over 200,000 customers in our region. We then had a 75-degree day. We then had another windstorm. We then had cold air come in, which created a snowstorm. And now we've had a meteor here in Northeast Ohio. And
play the cards you're dealt, Jim. Okay,
Pike Bishop. So it's been quite a 5-day stretch here in Northeast Ohio where who knows what tomorrow will bring. I want to bring you this information from NASA. It's very interesting. Why I do that, I want to show you some video that we compiled of various people who had an opportunity to shoot video or ring camera video of the meteor. So I'm going to play that while I talk about this. Now, again, this is all from NASA. Eyewitnesses in the states of Delaware, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Maryland, Michigan, New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Virginia, the District of Columbia, and the Canadian province of Ontario all filed reports with the American Meteor Society website of a very bright daylight fireball seen at 8:57 Eastern Standard Time. The meteor was also detected by the geostationary lightning mapper on the GOES satellite and several cameras in the region. Now, NASA analyzed all currently available data places the first visibility of the meteor at an altitude of 50 miles above Lake Erie. That's a little frightening to me. That doesn't seem all that much. This thing was 50 miles above Lake Erie off the beaches of Lorain in northern Ohio. Now listen to this. It was moving east to south at 40,000 miles per hour. 40,000 miles per hour. 40,000. The fireball was caused, and listen to this, NASA calls this a small asteroid. A small asteroid nearly 6 feet in diameter. Maybe that seems small, but it weighed 7 tons. This 6 feet in diameter asteroid weighed 7 tons, traveled over 34 miles through the upper atmosphere before fragmenting 30 miles over Valley City. That was north of Medina. Now the fragments continued on to the south, and it produced meteorites in the vicinity of Medina County, Ohio. The asteroid, again, this is all according, and you can see that when it exploded, as it entered the Earth's atmosphere, you could see those cameras shaking. The asteroid unleashed an energy of 250 tons, 250 tons of TNT when it fragmented, resulting in a pressure wave which propagated to the ground, causing the booms and explosive noises heard by many of the public. I can tell you that I talked to a number of people who were outside when this actually happened, and they told, that's what NASA's talking about, that the pressure wave. People told me that they felt this wave literally go through them. And this is the majority of these people, and I talked to at least 3 people who told me they felt this, that these waves kind of went right through their body during this explosion. So that's incredible information that we've gotten right now just from NASA. 250 tons of TNT The number of states,
That doesn't
Delaware,
seem very
Illinois,
powerful.
Indiana, Kentucky, Maryland, Michigan, New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Virginia, the District of Columbia, and the Canadian province of Ontario
Shockwave. Yeah.
all saw this, all reported this. And once again, this was based right over us, right over Lake Erie here in northeastern Ohio. So absolutely incredible stuff that we have witnessed here today. And what I want to do is that video that you were watching while I gave you all that information from NASA, I want to play that out again for you, but I want to bring the volume up again because
shake the
in
snow
some
off the
cases
cars.
it's
Yeah, I don't
funny to
know.
listen to the people as they see this, and then you can hear in some
You guys
cases.
ever saw the movie called Night of the Comet? Night of the Comet, where the comet comes over and all stuff happens. There was also another one called Maximum Overdrive. Wasn't Maximum Overdrive also a comet that came and then it made like cars come to life and stuff like that, I think?
Is the sonic boom. So I'm going to once again give you this. I'm going to turn up the volume and take a look and take a listen.
Ooh, sounds like something. Wow. Yeah. Humans have a great imagination. Oh, that was loud. Wow. Crazy. Boom. Oh, there's pure cocaine 80s madness. Yeah, it is. Great, though. Emilio Estevez.
Okay, so that gives you a good idea of what a lot of people, all
So that happened. That happened. And so back to this. So yeah, the reason that we can't open the straits because they don't know where all the mines are. U.S. forces start mine clearing mission in Strait of Hormuz. CENTCOM says forces began setting conditions for clearing mines April 11th as 2 U.S. Navy missile destroyers conduct operations. The Peterson and the Murphy transited Strait. Strait of Hormuz international sea passes. They're going to do what they can in the coming days. The official account. Yeah, Night of the Comet freaked you out. Yeah, that was the Night of the Comet was the one I think right there at a movie theater, and then when they went out and then everybody was like dead or whatever or disappeared. We have a military bomb disposal site 500 miles away, which is louder than that. When the unknown arrives at an unexpected time, this chant will remain our constant truth of unbroken line. From north is not the distant land, the star above is the toasted and the move with discipline. Yes. This is Iran lost mines in the Strait of Hormuz. Iran can't reopen the strait because it can't find its own mines. Mines are slowing everything down. Iran didn't precisely track the mines. Iran can't find the mines it planted in the Strait of Hormuz. U.S. says Iran lost track of the mines they spread. Iran unable to fully reopen Hormuz after losing track of the sea mines. And we got this story. Pro-Iranian hackers breached U.S. infrastructures, Fed says. Wrap up the Iran stories the wrap up on the Iran stories is we don't know, and neither does the media at this point. Yeah, that's it. Look at this. We got another 5 from Brian. Thank you so much. Brian says, thank you. It was a good break. Thank you. Thank you so much. That means right now we are just $49 away, folks. We're just slightly more than halfway there to adding an extra hour. $49 away. Thank you so much, Brian. That one looked like a white SUV. Yes. Our LCS minesweepers went through the minefields. Cool, Nam. Thanks. Thank you so much. And again, Brian, I hope we have another rally. Me too. She's on the run. Yeah. She's She's on the run, but we have the technology to track her. Iranian cyber attacks targeting U.S. organizations have increased in tandem with the ongoing war in Iran. Pro-Iranian hackers have breached critical U.S. infrastructure, according to a joint warning issued on April 7th by several federal agencies. The advisory came only hours after President Trump's deadline for Iran, warning a whole civilization will die tonight. I watched all the Doctor Who's. Yes, I used to like Doctor Who a lot. What are you doing? What are you doing over there, Bella? Huh? Come lay down. Why does it look, what is going on now? Why does the camera look super weird? It shouldn't be that blown up. I think the Nevers is on Tubi. Wow, she walked. Yeah, she does. She does do that. She's got an itch, though, again, it looks like. Iranian cyber attackers targeting U.S. organizations have increased. In the latest breach, hackers caused disruptions through malicious interactions on project files and data displays and organizations across multiple U.S. critical infrastructure sectors, including government services and facilities, local municipalities, water and waste systems, and energy infrastructure. Mitnick, for those that aren't familiar, is like the first hacker we prosecuted for hacking. We always see her. Bella is a real dog, new folks. Yes, she is. We always see her at night. Yeah. Pretty amazing for a bot dog. Yes, it's crazy, right? He just got his net privileges back after 20 years. Hackers exploited vulnerabilities in internet connected devices using control machinery in key U.S. sectors. In a few cases, this activity has resulted in operational disruptions and financial loss. Cyber Command is on it. U.S. entities that use the impacted device, including programmable logic controllers, PLCs from Rockwell's Automation's Allen Bradley brand, are advised to check their cyber defenses, apply safety measures listed in the warning, and review activity on their networks for indications that they were compromised in order to avoid risks of further breaches. Although the agencies specifically named Rockwell Automation devices, they said other brands could be affected as well. Why are these machines hooked up to the internet? So that people can control them from other places, for remote control, stuff like that. Switches and stuff, water control, so people can monitor them. They're not on closed loop systems. Wait, Bella's a bot? Yeah, she's completely robotic. Due to the widespread use of these PLCs, programmable logic controllers, and the potential for additional targeting of other branded operational technology devices across critical infrastructure, the authoring agencies recommend U.S. organizations urgently review the tactics, techniques, and procedures and indicators of compromise in their advisory. If U.S. organizations discover they were breached, they are advised to contact appropriate federal agencies for support, risk mitigation, and investigation assistance. Hey, Critter Sitter's here. Howdy, y'all. Hit the thumbs up and please and thanks and have a good night. Glad I got here in time to see Bella roam. Did the government hire her to work for them hacking? I think so. I think Minnick got hired. They must have shitty network administrators, maybe. Is it cheaper to pay someone to watch the machines on Sandbox not hooked up to the internet? No, not really. Proof that Bella is a bot. We never see Jim's hands as an AI bot. We never see Jim's hand on the game controller. Yeah, they want to sell the AI police state to the masses via safety. Actually, they do have shitty admins. Yeah, they do. The joint notice on April 7th listed IP addresses that hackers use within specific timeframes. IP addresses were provided so that the companies can check against their own logs for indications of a breach by Iranian hackers that are known threats. They have UHPC and hit everything in the mountains. But that's inside info. I remember the guy the government busted for growing pot, and they hired him to grow U.S. pot. Yeah. I bet they're still wanting Windows XP. Probably. Some of them are running some old stuff. This latest breach is not the first time that Iranian-backed hackers have breached U.S. critical infrastructure. In November 2023, a group called Cyber Avengers compromised at least 75 U.S.-based PLC devices. Ultra-high-performance concrete. Iran has also engaged in malicious cyber activity against key U.S. officials, including political campaigns, according to a September 2024 advisory. He wrote a book, How to Grow Pot. Was that Ed from High Times? Or Marijuana? Additionally, Iran-backed hackers targeted the Trump administration during the 2024 presidential campaign. Supposedly, Iranians tried to hire somebody to kill Trump. I mean, there's a trial going on. FBI and other agencies said in a statement that the hackers tried sending the stolen Trump data to media organizations. What's this? JL Mizer says, saying Israel's got to knock it off sounds like Tucker and all those craziness. You too? I'm so sick of hearing it. No. I'm not. Okay. I'm saying that if Trump and Israel came to a deal, they're going to make a deal with Iran, and Israel knew that they were going to do this, and they didn't. I said, it almost sounds to me like what's going on with Trump saying the things that they're saying is that maybe it was a miscommunication. I don't know. Unless if Lebanon was never part of the deal, then it was never part of the deal. I don't know. I am not anti-Israel at all. I'm just pro-American. Same thing here from the New York Post. Iran hackers disrupt systems tied to critical U.S. infrastructure. So the group targeted devices spanning multiple critical infrastructure sites. Oh, and we got this story, which this is kind of on a different thing. Tom Whistler, the book How to Grow Marijuana from Seed to Harvest is authored by Tom Whistler. The book provides a complete step-up guide for beginners in cultivating marijuana. He used the income tax code to get off the charges when they busted him. Cool. AI is great for finding things. Funny, Germany put a restriction on fighting-age males a week ago. America First says Israel knew attacking Lebanon would derail the ceasefire. Well, I mean, if they did, it's the thing, is if they purposely did it, if, and it's a big if they purposely did it after they knew that they weren't supposed to, that a deal was struck, and they did it anyway, that would be a problem. But like from what I gathered, there was some rockets launched in Israel, so they attacked back. I don't know. Now, if that's not true, then I don't know. The gap between rich and poor nations grows even wider. Wow. The gap between rich and poor nations is growing wider as actions agreed to by many nations last year, including overhauling major global financial institutions, remain unfulfilled promises. The report asserts a blueprint adopted in Seville, Spain last June to narrow the gap. So they want global socialism. They want rich nations to give money to poor nations. That's what they want. The IMF said it's been prepared to upgrade global growth, but the Iran war has now darkened the outlook. Oh my God. This was always in the cards. I'm not sure who Germany will side with. UN Undersecretary for Economic and Social Affairs said geopolitical tensions were compounding the struggles. Oh, so now it's Trump's fault that nations are poor around the world. What do you know? Geez, what do you know? Now it's Trump's fault that nations are poor around the world. Wow. That's so sad. So sad. So sad. Trump can, man. Last year's conference in Seville, leaders of the many world nations, but not the United States, unanimously adopted a Seville commitment which was aimed at closing the $4 trillion annual financial gap in developing world, calling scaling up investments. Turkey is the World War III everyone was theorizing about. Could be. Christendom wants Constantinople back. Oh, I agree. Yes, I agree. AP's gap between rich and poor nations growing even wider. Does Turkey have nukes? No, Turkey does not have nukes. Turkey is under the protection of American nukes. There used to be nukes in Turkey. They were U.S. missiles. And then that's kind of why the whole, I can't remember what they were called. There was missiles that went into Turkey, and then the Russians, Soviets were putting missiles in Cuba because of the missiles in Turkey. And so then they backed off the stuff. I never trust a Turk after reading T.E. Lawrence. So yeah, the IMF said they've been prepared to upgrade. So we saw this. They closed our bases. Oh well. Oh well. This is just in. I have a video of this though I want to get. Just in, machete-wielding man with numerous prior arrests fatally shot by NYPD after slashing 3 elder victims at Grand Central. Where's a video of this? Oh, it's not a video, really. Oh, here we go. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, we got witnesses tell this that NYPD shot a man who wouldn't drop a knife after slashing 2 people in Grand Central Station. Yes, luckily the slasher didn't survive. But here, this is what the leftists think. This Talia Jane says, does NYPD know how to disarm people without going straight to lethal force? Has anyone else noticed that NYPD constantly reacts to a person with a knife by shooting them? Yeah, it's deadly force. You react to deadly force with deadly force. Fascists trying to flood dimensions with stupid shit. NYPD is trained on disarming people with knives and continues to not use the training. People who refuse to drop it when directed are often not lucid. These people are, this lady is a serious moron. You morons are currently jerking off the group of ROTC candidates who tackled and stabbed the mass shooter, but in your universe, trained NYPD officers are not allowed to do so in close contact. She wants people to get stabbed. This lady is a fucking wackadoo. She's like a weirdo. She says she's an indie reporter, but she's not. She's a fucking Antifa, like weirdo. Antifa crazy lady. That's what the Flaming Heart thing is. She's just nuts, man. We got a couple other things before we get into that story. We got the violent Haitian who bludgeoned an innocent woman to death was smuggled into the U.S. through Key West. All right.
So on April 3rd, the Fort Myers Police Department in Fort Myers, Florida, responded to a horrific crime scene at a gas station where an innocent mother was violently attacked and murdered. Their surveillance footage, which is circulating widely on social media, shows Robert Joaquin, a Haitian illegal alien, brutally striking the victim multiple times in the head with a hammer. This senseless act has shocked our community and underscores the critical importance of immigration enforcement and our role in public safety. Through the coordinated efforts of the Fort Myers Police Department, ERO, HSI, the U.S. Marshals, CBP, Air and Marine Operations, this man was swiftly located and apprehended. The speed and accuracy in which our law enforcement teams were able to track the killer's movements and arrest him is a testament to our robust law enforcement partnerships here in the state of Florida. Currently, Mr. Joaquin is being held at the Lee County Jail on charges of homicide and property damage. ERO has issued an immigration detainer and will ensure that he is never released into the communities or the streets of the United States again. Joaquin, an illegal alien from Haiti, first entered the United States on August 9th, 2022, near Key West, Florida, subsequent to a maritime smuggling operation. He was arrested by the United States Border Patrol. He was turned over to ICE ERO for detention and was later issued a immigration judge's final order of removal on September 9th, 2022. The prior administration allowed him to be released into the United States and subsequently granted him temporary protected status, giving him a legal safeguard to remain in our country. As of yesterday, the Trump administration stripped that safeguard, and his protections are now revoked. On June 27, 2025, the Trump administration announced the termination of temporary protective status for Haiti. It was determined that country conditions have improved to the point where Haitians can be returned safely. TPS, temporary protective status, was never designed to be a permanent stay in the United States, but for decades it's been abused as a de facto amnesty program. As we have ended TPS, the courts have obstructed the administration from restoring integrity to our immigration system.
Yes, they have. It's all been the courts. It's all been the courts. It's all been the courts. All right, violent Haitian who killed a gas station person. All right, we got this story. Check this out. This is an absurd. Check this out. This is going to drive you crazy. An African-American tourist denounces racism in Italy because some boys prevent them from defacing monuments in Rome. If you don't let them destroy your city, you're a racist. Seems like a joke, but it's not.
Experiencing racism in Rome, Italy.
And they're upset because we're writing on a bridge just like everybody else.
That's TikTok, right? That's so funny. That's so funny. He's recording us?
Yes, I am. Oh, my God. Hey, don't walk alone now. You can too. Leave us alone. No, don't come on, y'all. Another Get him. Get him. Leave us alone. Come on. Leave us alone. Leave us alone. Leave us alone.
Leave us alone so we can graffiti. We want to come here and graffiti.
Leave us alone.
They think Italy cares about the tropes. They don't. The Italians are like, what? No, we ain't playing.
Experiencing.
Wow. Yeah. Check this out. A bombshell report. U.S. Attorney Bill Alessi just confirmed that California Demon Rats turned off a fraud prevention program, allowing one guy to steal $200 million as a result.
Because California does nothing to deter the fraud, and they do nothing to detect and prevent the fraud in the first place. The guy you highlighted that we secured a plea agreement for, he took $200 million from the state of California's Medi-Cal system in an 11-month period because they suspended their fraud prevention measures that they had on their website. So this guy took advantage of it. $200 million, one guy, 11 months. So just calculate how much fraud you think there actually is in the state of California.
And I was reading statistics a few days ago that suggested something like 1,800 hospice centers are located in California out of maybe 6,000 in the entire country. It's obviously a very lucrative business in California for some reason.
It's very lucrative because they can bill crazy amounts to Medicare and it just gets paid. But the fundamental flaw is that you shouldn't be able to get a hospice license that easy. California is responsible for administering the hospice program. They issue the licenses, and they issued them out like hotcakes. And so LA County has a third of all the hospices in the nation. That's not right. So we want to shut those hospices down. We're working with Dr. Oz. Dr. Oz is actually going into the system and blocking certain providers from being able to bill when we see those red flags. But let's be clear, not one fraudster would have gotten $1, but for California handing them the keys to Medicare with a hospice license.
I want you to listen.
Yeah, that's what's going on there. That's what's going on there. Then we got this. Look at this. We have federally charged Shamel Abdulkalim, 29, of Highland, in connection with a mass blaze that destroyed a $1.2 million square foot warehouse in Ontario early Tuesday morning, causing damage estimated over $500 million. He filmed himself setting merchandise on fire in the warehouse, made statements criticizing capitalism and large corporations, and he compared himself to Luigi Mangione. We will not tolerate political activists who resort to violence. He's charged with arson of a building used in interstate and foreign commerce. The felony charge carries a 5-year mandatory minimum prison sentence and a statutory maximum of 20 years. I'm sure some judge will say you can't do that. You can't do that.
should have paid us enough to fucking live. You know, we may not get paid enough to fucking live, but these bitches dirt cheap. All you had to do was pay us enough to live. All you had to do was pay us enough to fucking live. All you had to do was pay us enough to live. There goes your inventory.
Yeah, well, he's gonna spend a long time in jail. This is very interesting. This guy says, I built this courtwatch.us, a free public database for American citizens who deserve safer communities. You can track which judges released defendants who then got rearrested, skipped court, or violated a release condition. All public records are all free. They started with Orange County, Florida, and they'll be expanding to all 67 Florida counties. Like this guy, 20 cases, 7 new arrests, 13 revocations, 0 failed to appear for people they released. How can I help build this in North Carolina? They need to build this for everywhere. You can. This is the site. You can search by judges' names, hold them accountable. 19 judges tracked, 211 cases, 1 county covered. So it's just one cover. This guy's just getting started. Courtwatch.us. It's something that people should probably check out. And this was good. Douglas Murray, said Viktor Orban did something in 2015 was remarkable.
He did something in 2015, which I wrote about in the book, which was remarkable.
Yeah, it was remarkable. He said no to any immigrants coming in. He made a stand, and the EU penalizes his country €1 million a day because he wouldn't take migrants in. Can you believe that? That's why Hungary's having problems, is because the EU is fining them €1 million a day. How is that even possible? His bills will all be paid now. A copycat today or yesterday went through a nearby mall setting stuff on fire. Oh my God. They were never prepared for this. No fire drills, no fire team, 50,000 square foot of flammable stuff, and no fire prevention activities. Yeah, well. When he gets done in prison, he will make millions off that stuff. I hope not. Yeah. Nick Shirley needs to come to Ohio. We may be a red state, but spineless DeWine sold us out to Biden. Lots of smellies and Haitians. Yeah. Oh, the EU, you don't say? Yes, the guy's going to be taken care of. His bills will be paid. Free housing, food, medical care. Yeah. I can't play more of this because it'll get copyrighted from them. But here's this. A guy just took a machete to the heads and bodies of random subway riders before NYPD officers finally shot him. According to New York Post, he has 13 prior arrests, including one for menacing with a sharp object. Can you believe it? Happened yet again. Yeah, and it won't stop until the blue city leaders finally decide to draw a clear line in the sand. Yeah, communist justice. During the Cultural Revolution in China and Soviet rule in USSR, the people in power implemented a 2-tier legal system. Can you believe it? A 2-tier legal system? Wow. Sound familiar? The objective of this policy was to keep the populace in fear and compliance by giving a de facto legal immunity to criminals who would cause chaos and work on behalf of the ruling regime, e.g. the Red Guard, while prohibiting active self-defense. The rationale for a 2-tier system was that such criminals helped move the revolution forward while law-abiding citizens did not. The latter were implicitly treated as counter-revolutionaries who must be purged. In order to move a country towards socialism, society needs to be first unburdened by its past and culture. Oh, isn't that what Kamala said? We got to be unburdened by our past? Oh. Which required things to be broken like social trust, family bonds, and protection of private property. That's why they focus on our Second Amendment. That's right. I like the Russian prisons, the way they treat their prisoners. They put like 6 to 8 murderers in the same room. In the West, Columbia professor Herbert Marcuse, and father of the New Left movement, proposed implementing the same system, calling it liberating tolerance. Marcuse's most famous doctoral student is Angela Davis, an ally of Jim Jones, the Jonestown Massacre, and who now spearheads prison abolition movement in the United States. Yes, Angela Davis, real popular with the Obamas. Real popular. Check this out. You got the haters are coming after a 16-year-old named Ella. All right. The young Wisconsin girl is leading the fight to get boys out of girls' bathrooms in K-12 schools. Ella is strong, and so is her family, but she's just a kid. Yes. Gives new meaning to Kamala's most quoted phrase, right? She's the reason that POTUS took notice and civil rights started a Title IX investigation. She's the reason school board candidates endorsed Mob for Liberties. She's the reason the board president of Total Loser, Tim Waltz, adult-loving demon rat from Minnesota who probably supports tampons in a boys' room, was kicked off the board.
Was getting violated and taken away from me, I lost that sense of safeness. So now I'm using the single stall restroom alone. Like none of that, the confidence and privacy that I deserved, that I had before, that has just been ripped away.
Corey, how proud of you must be of Ella and other young women that they are really drilling this home and making it rather easy for the rest of us to all understand what the issues are. Title IX was put so that this wouldn't happen.
Right. Yeah. As a mom of young girls, I am so proud of Ella. I'm so grateful for the parents speaking out and most of all being willing to fight back, because this is happening outside of just New Richmond, Wisconsin, and it's not enough to be outraged. That's one part of it, but you have to be willing to do something about it. So we're really grateful to be able to help this community.
Wow. Let's see what else. There's a couple more here. Why did it do that?
I'm just a high school student. I never imagined I would be talking to a room full of adults about something like this. But I knew I had to say something, because if we stay silent, nothing changes. Girls shouldn't be told our feelings don't matter, and girls shouldn't have to give up their private spaces to protect someone else's feelings. Standing up wasn't easy, but it was the right thing to do. And I won't stop talking about this until girls' privacy has been restored.
Because it's the school board, but it's also for us as kids, as young girls that are scared to use the restroom. That shouldn't be happening. And I'm thankful that they're able to look me in the eye, talk to me, tell me what my future's gonna look like. And I'm hoping that you guys can all help my future be better than what it is right now.
Oh, yeah. It's sad that we have to have little girls doing this. Okay. Oh, look at this. An illegal alien from Nicaragua grabbed a woman on the north side last week, bashed her head into the sidewalk, knocked her unconscious, and raped her. Chicago's mayor. Let's move on.
Well, the real Chicagoans that I talk to, that I communicate with, mostly black and brown, actually, tell me that you don't seem to know the difference between illegal aliens and real Chicago citizens. They feel that you are siding with the illegal aliens over them in their communities. And sadly,
William, let's get to the question.
Let's get to the question. The real question is simply this. I don't know how to make it any more direct. An illegal alien from Nicaragua grabbed a woman on the north side last week, bashed her head into the sidewalk, knocked her unconscious, and raped her. If that had been your wife, Stacey.
Okay, all right, we're not going to answer it. Thank you. Thanks, William.
All right. Would you want ICE to deport her?
All right.
Let's
move on.
Yes or no?
Let's move on. We're not going to talk about the illegal aliens raping and murdering people. We're not going to talk about that. Let's move on. But let's move on. We're going to get to that story in a second. I just wanted to run through some of these. This is a good story, too. Mandami's whistleblower fired 24 hours after reporting boss's alleged affair. I cannot have a person like Ebony working for me. What do you know? Firing people who are whistleblowers. Wow. Yeah, I just don't want to die. Miles Young was only 15 years old when he had his whole life ahead of him. Instead, he was taken from this world by a criminal legal monster who was released in the country by the Obama administration. His death is a horrific consequence of open borders. I just don't want to die. 15-year-old Miles Young, final words before being murdered by an illegal alien. There's a lot going on here, most highly controversial and uncomfortable. Without looking at the difficult stuff, we can't see the whole board. Strap in. America was founded predominantly by Anglo Protestants. Catholics were here since the beginning, and they even got Maryland, but that didn't go so well, and they reverted to Protestant control. The American ruling class was dominated by high church Anglos. When the first bigwigs of Irish, German, and Italian immigrants arrived, they were Catholic, and the ethnic and religious tensions began. We going to start recognizing Soros as foreign influence yet? I do. The anti-Trump globalists, Jewish globalists, or the anti-Trump London globalists? Who knows? Much like Indian immigrants do today, Catholics took over urban hubs and used machine politics to turn government jobs into ethnic cartels. Catholic neighborhoods form, Catholic schools segregate out new minorities and allow them to retain their culture and faith. We also start to see significant Eastern European immigration, which is why America has more Jews here than Israel does in their specific Jewish ethno-state. This is how we got to know nothings before foreign influence. Catholics will follow their king in Rome. Most people think of the KKK as an organization that tormented black Americans, but it was mainly a Protestant reaction to Catholic and Jewish immigration. Yeah, the KKK hated the Catholics too. Catholic and Jewish diasporas were able to control local urban politics, but found it difficult to break into the higher echelon because the ruling class remained white Anglo-Saxon Protestants, WASPs, and they were uninterested in handing power to the newcomers. This is why you hear so much about Catholics and Jews being excluded from country clubs where WASPs did the real politics. The mainline Protestant denominations held the ruling class, but evangelical low church Protestants swept through the heartland. The ruling class might have been Anglican Episcopalian, but evangelicals had the passion and the numbers. Jews were already not huge fans of Catholics for reasons that should be obvious, and evangelicals adopted this novel form of theology called dispensationalism that featured the Jews prominently as a chosen people to be protected and whom the homeland was owed if Jesus was to return. Evangelicals are also very politically convenient because while they have numbers and accumulated wealth to be very politically useful, they have no interest in ruling. Many evangelicals even believe that holding power is against the religion, and they are very amenable to handing power to another ruling class. So you start seeing evangelical Jewish axes form in the American politics to unseat the WASP and freeze out the Catholics. Dispensationalism was key to securing support for the founding of Israel and Jewish allies here, and are very aware of how important it is to keep evangelicals the dominant Christian force in American politics. But as America continued to experience unprecedented levels of legal and illegal immigration, it didn't just shift the ethnic makeup, but the religious compositions as well. When foreigners are Christians, instead of, say, Muslim or Hindu, they are not evangelical, they are Catholic or Orthodox. But sorry, Catholic bros, but America isn't getting more Catholic, it's getting more foreign and less American. These immigrants don't have the American addiction to World War II Holocaust history, and their faith is best neutral to Judaism. It's not openly hostile. They're not natural allies to Israel, and American Jews are very aware of this. So what you are watching under the surface of the current debate is an ethno-religious shakeup of the current political landscape. The reigning WASPs who resent losing power are aligning to some extent with Catholics who are already ascending. Notice the Supreme Court and conservative intelligentsia are increasingly more Catholic and less Jewish, while Jewish Americans attempt to hold on to their hard-won positions by utilizing their alliance with the evangelicals. Paul White versus the Pope is just ethno-religious fascism dressed up as ideology. This was an answer to this one. I don't know. Oh, check this out. A black woman rear-ends a white dad and his 14-year-old son in a hit and run, then pulls a gun on them both. Dad fights back, disarms her, and knocks the violent thug out cold with one hip toss. Accidental shot fires, but justice served. So let's see what happens here. This is a video. This isn't live.
I don't play with a motherfucking man. A man is not gonna play with me. You gonna play with me, bitch. 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 You gonna play with me now. Now, cause one thing about it, I don't play with no mother. Don't catch me.
I wonder if they arrested the white guy.
Tell police get here. I don't play.
That person should not have a gun. I will be what? Canaanites. Hitler was a Roman Catholic. Was he? I didn't think Hitler was a Christian. That's crazy, right? That's crazy. That's just crazy. And this is completely nonsense. A.G. Hamilton says these posts are exhausting because they're made by people who don't even understand the basics. Kushner Wickoff reportedly offered Iran for us to provide them already enriched uranium from outside Iran for people purposes, not for them to have unlimited enrichment. The Islamic Republic said no, because it comes with the condition they can't enrich themselves to levels needed for a nuclear bomb. This guy says, Fox News just reported that the fracture inside Trump's negotiating team. Yeah, it says, Kushner, the man who took $2 billion from Saudi Arabia, secretly offered Iran unlimited uranium enrichment. That's actually not, this guy's lying. It's actually not what this says. Watch.
Well, when J.D. Vance says that the president gave them clear guidelines, we understand that to mean that the U.S. needs to go in there and tell Iran no enrichment, period. That is what we have heard from White House officials. Remember, about 6 weeks ago, Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner were sitting there with the Iranians and said, the U.S. will give you all the uranium you want for peaceful purposes. You just can't use it to enrich a bomb. And Iran said no. Now they are, of course, adding J.D. Vance to the equation. And so we'll see how things go. We don't even really know what the format is yet. They had indirect talks last time. These will be TBD. Well, when JD...
Yeah. So this guy lying with this post saying, oh, they said that they said they're going to offer to Iran unlimited uranium enrichment for people personally. That's not what they... No, not enrichment at all. This fucking people post this shit and lie. Just fucking lie about what was said. I mean, that's so crazy. Just lie about what was said. Just lie about what was said. It's just nuts. Machete-wielding New York City maniac who stabbed 3 elderly strap hangers at Central Terminal called himself Lucifer. He was more of an occultist, not in the History Channel sense, like Anunnaki-type flat earther. Yeah. A criminal / 3 elderly people with a machete, while calling himself Lucifer in an unprovoked attack that was fatally shot by cops at Grand Central Terminal. Cain and Abel were twins, same mother, but 2 different fathers. What? 85-year-old man suffering a deep cut across his head, a 65-year-old man suffering cuts on his head, and a 456 subway platform. Blood-soaked white gauze wrapped around one victim's head. Photos of the scene show the slasher has also been carried away on a gurney. Two NYPD detectives who were working overtime to provide transit security confronted the 44-year-old identified as Anthony Griffin and told him to drop the machete. He thought the Aryans were a race. While they did exist, it was just a language group. They were not genetically homogenous. From the top of the stairs, they observed the individual on the platform. They immediately ordered him to drop the knife. The individual was armed with a large knife, described as a machete, and was behaving erratically, repeatedly stating that he was Lucifer. Griffin refused to comply with at least 20 orders to drop the knife. I think you say it like 2 or 3 times, and that's it. And then he got to go. Officers also attempted to de-escalate and offer assistance, saying, we're going to get you help. But Griffin advanced towards them with the blade extended. One officer discharged his firearm at the perpetrator twice. She got pregnant and had Cain, continued in labor and had Abel. They killed Satan? Sounds like it. Griffin was taken to Bellevue Hospital, pronounced dead a short time later. His prior arrests include one for menacing with a sharp object. Wow. 2 officers were taken to hospital, treated for tinnitus, ringing in the ears. Their language is a mix with Indic, Iranian, and form the basis of most Indo-European offshoots spoken today. He thought the Aryans were special or the chosen ones. Sound familiar? People aren't making sense tonight. I know. Zohar Mandami sent a post that he was grateful to the NYPD for their quick response. Yeah. Until someone tries to go after him. NYPD is conducting an internal investigation. Will release the body-worn camera footage soon as all the incidents involved in the discharge of the firearm. Claudio Delgado was the main hall in the Grand Central when the chaos erupted. I was coming from Connecticut when, boom, everyone got down on the floor. Then the police said, get out of here fast. They said somebody with a gun and police were involved. It's scary. Worker Jessica Munez, who employed at the Brook Street Bakery near the subway entrance, saw people running out of the station. I was scared. We don't know what we can do. We just see the people running, and I asked the guy, and he said there was a shooting downstairs. It's scary. What else could I do? It's scary. Wow. Same thing here. Machete man shot by NYPD. And this is just New York subway stabbing leaves 3 hurt as police shoot and kill knife-wielding man. Oh, well. Check this out. Chicago Public Schools have a May Day fight on their hand. That's right. The teachers union wants to be able to have May Day off so that they can celebrate with their comrades, their Marxist comrades. Earlier this week, we told you how Chicago Public Schools and other districts are planning to partake in the socialist May Day activities, including anti-ICE protests. Leslie Ann says, hello, everyone. Thank you for my membership. No problem. Now, CPS CEO Mark McQuilleen King is attacking both the school board and the teachers union for wanting to take May 1st off and demands that they take a public vote on the matter. My position has not changed, CPS CEO McQuilleen King rebuffs. School board says they need to take the public vote if they think the CTU should get May 1st off. My recommendation is Chicago Board of Education for weeks again during this review agenda. It's been to maintain May 1st as an instructional day for students. As a career educator, I believe every minute in a classroom is vital for our students. My position has not changed. If the board chooses to change the approved 2025-2026 academic calendar, they should convene a special board meeting or for a formal vote. Our staff, students, and family need a clear understanding of what to expect on May 1st. King does not appear to be changing her mind on the issue. What's wrong with the mayor, CTU, and the school board? Kids in Chicago can't read or do math, but they're removing another day from the classroom for political indoctrination. It's those dysfunction of CPS. Chicago mayor is complicit through needless activist disruption. Kids are caught in the middle and are manipulated to become conscripts for the radically left anti-capitalist political agenda. This is not what school is for. This is not what school is for. They just want them to be foot soldiers for their leftist agenda. Yeah, Chicago's teachers union are commies, are the biggest commies in America. They are. Yes, they are. Yeah, May Day boycott sparks clash over closing of Chicago public schools. A planned May Day boycott is putting Chicago public schools at the center of a growing political and educational fight. Labor leaders are calling for a boycott and demonstration on May 1st. What is May Day? Oh, that's right. That's the Soviet celebration. They used to have the celebration May Day all the time. On Wednesday, King said she would not cancel school, but by Thursday, multiple outlets reported that she reversed course after speaking with the mayor. Late Thursday evening, she again changed direction, saying kids would be in class. We are not living through ordinary times, CTU leaders wrote in an email. Nothing in the news in the past 24 hours changes that. Our students have something to say, and we as educators have a responsibility to speak up and support them in finding their voice, their vision. No. I think something needs to happen. The NEA, National Educators Association, is the biggest government union in the country as well, complete commies. And it's originally a pagan holiday from Scandinavia. They want kids in school for labor history lessons and learning opportunities. Yeah. They're lobbying for CPS to move a professional development day already on the books for June to May 1st. Critics are raising concerns about tying a day off to a political protest. Yep, communism is a disease. It really is. Anyone not part of some ideological bunker can plainly see what CTU is doing, a radical political movement intent on using Chicago schools to further its agenda. It's where they walk around with a big pole with ribbons and then they try to kill someone. Yeah. Our political activity is to ensure that black students have a successful plan in order to undo the harm of years of marginal educational opportunities. Well, here's the question that everyone should ask. Chicago has been run by Democrats since the 1920s. So who is doing all this harm to the black students in Chicago? It must be the fucking Democrats, because they've been in charge for over 100 years. Chicago Teachers Union has a long history of giant hotel parties and cries for millions and millions of dollars. And cruises. Yeah, cruises. Okay. All right. Hold on a second. Okay. Well, everybody, Capone was a Democrat. No, he wasn't actually. Capone was a Republican. That's why he went to, he moved out when he supported all the Republican mayors of Chicago. When a Democrat got elected, that's why he relocated to Cicero and Berwyn and everything, and then put Republicans in there. So that's what happened with that. That's what happened with that. Because I'm not saying the Republicans weren't corrupt as hell. They were corrupt as hell at that time too. They all were. The guy that was in charge of Atlantic City during Prohibition was a Republican. It was like a lot of Republicans, and then stuff changed after Prohibition. Democrats started gaining more power and stuff like that. And but anyway, so everybody, we went 2.5 hours. We did not hit the goal, unfortunately. So I think that's going to be it for the evening. I want to thank everybody who was here. Please remind you all to please hit the like button if you haven't already. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. I only see a couple people live. I was going to send you guys all over to see my good friend Chris Baldessano, who's doing karaoke. Even if you don't like karaoke, Joe's going to start at 8:45 or so. He says 8:45. What, tomorrow morning or tonight? What are you talking about? Just say hi to him, and say hi to my good friend Chris, who's singing karaoke. He's a good friend of the channel. Now? Joe is on now? What do you mean Joe is on now? Oh, okay. Joe is on in 17. All right. We'll tell you what then. Give Bella a treat and have a good night. All right. Well, locals post. All right. Well, you guys can go check it out. He just sent a notification. But anyway, I'll see you guys all. I think I'm going to try to stream tomorrow. I'll see what happens. But thanks, everybody.